Tonight, before you drift off to sleep, let your eyes rest from the glow of your phone screen and imagine yourself lying beneath a truly dark sky. No city noise, no headlights, only a faint, silvery band stretching across the heavens. That's the Milky Way, our vast cosmic home. If your nights are often restless, filled with racing thoughts, quiet worries, or the endless noise of videos that only tire your mind, then this moment is for you. In this video, we'll drift slowly together through 101 gentle facts about the Milky Way. Real, scientific stories, told in a soft whisper, so you can explore the universe while letting your thoughts unwind. You don't need to remember anything. Just close your eyes, listen, and let each fact shimmer like a tiny star, quietly lighting up your mind, guiding you along the silken river of the Milky Way until sleep gently finds you. Imagine this. Tonight, you step outside and find yourself standing in the middle of an open field. No streetlights, no traffic, only the soft wind, the scent of grass, and the endless sky stretching above you. You look up, and there it is, a faint, misty glow across the darkness, like a silken ribbon of silver draped over the night. It isn't bright like the moon, nor does it flicker like the lonely stars. It's gentler, spilling a quiet, milky light, as though thousands upon thousands of stars were softly humming a song only the universe could hear. That glowing band is the Milky Way, our immense home suspended in the silent void. Thousands of years ago, long before electricity and the glare of cities drowned the heavens, humans looked up at that same light and wondered, what is it? The ancient Greeks told a story that it was milk spilled from the breast of the goddess Hera. When she startled, her milk scattered across the heavens, forming the Milky Way, the milk of heaven. To them, the cosmos was not just a mystery of physics, it was a living story, a legend written in light. In China, they called it the Silver River, Ngan Ha. They imagined it as a celestial stream, separating the cowherd and the weaver girl, who could meet only once a year on the night of the 7th moon festival. Across the vast Mongolian steppe, people saw it as the road of souls, where the departed rode their horses back to the sky. And far away in South America, the Inca saw in it the shape of a great serpent, gliding silently through the night. No matter who they were or where they lived, every culture felt the same sacred awe, as if something divine was flowing through the sky. Today, we know that the Milky Way is not a river of milk or a celestial stream of silver. It is the light of hundreds of billions of stars, so far away that the human eye cannot tell them apart. Their light merges together, forming that shimmering band, a ribbon of infinity. Whenever you look up and see the stars in Orion, Cassiopeia, or Cygnus, remember, every one of them belongs to the Milky Way. Every constellation we've named, every star you can see with your naked eye, they're all neighbors, sharing the same colossal stellar city. Our Milky Way is a spiral galaxy, over 100,000 light-years across. If you could travel at the speed of light, 300,000 kilometers per second, it would still take you 100,000 years to cross from one end to the other. Just thinking about that distance can make your heart sink a little, reminding us how small we are, adrift in a sea of stars. Yet in that smallness lies something extraordinary, that even as tiny specks of life, we can still see our home shining across the dark. Sadly, most people today can no longer see the Milky Way. Light pollution from cities has washed it away. In many places, children grow up without ever witnessing the galaxy that once guided their ancestors. And perhaps, because of that, we've drifted further from that sacred feeling, that quiet connection to the cosmos. But if you find yourself on a mountain, in a desert, or on a distant island far from lights, look up on a clear night. You'll see it again, the faint silver glow, arching from horizon to horizon, trembling like the breath of the universe. And in that moment, you'll understand why humans have always dreamed beneath it and written their myths in its glow. Some say, looking at the Milky Way is the simplest way to remember your part of the universe. You don't need a spaceship or even a telescope, only your eyes and a little silence. You'll realize that the light reaching you tonight has traveled for hundreds, even thousands of years. It has crossed clouds of dust, the coldness of interstellar space, to tell the story of stars that died long ago. So when you look up tonight, you're not just seeing the sky, you're looking into the past, thousands of light years away. The Milky Way, then, is more than a sight. It's a mirror. It reflects time, history, and existence itself. Since the dawn of wonder, of fear, of love, humanity has looked to it, whispering the same question. Who are we, and where did we come from? And here's the beautiful truth. Every atom in your body, carbon, oxygen, calcium, was once forged in the hearts of ancient stars within this very galaxy. The light you see above is the legacy of our stellar ancestors, stars that lived, burned, and died to make you. So when you gaze at the Milky Way, you are, in a way, gazing at your own origins. Maybe the light that wanders through the cosmic darkness isn't lost at all. Maybe it's finding its way home, to your eyes, to remind you that you too belong to this vast, unfolding universe. Now take a deep breath and imagine yourself lying beneath that sky. No thoughts, no effort. Just let your mind drift with the glowing river above, as though you were floating along a current of starlight. Each star, a memory, a dream, a breath of the cosmos. And among that endless ocean of light, our sun, small and golden, is just one drop in the river. Billions of stars hum together, spinning, glowing, singing their ancient tune. And within that melody, wherever you are, you belong to something far greater than yourself. So let go. Close your eyes and let the Milky Way cradle you in its distant glow. Let each breath match the rhythm of the universe, each heartbeat a whisper from the stars. Because even as you gently drift into sleep, that light is still traveling through space, carrying the story of the cosmos and the story of you. The light in the darkness, that soft, silvery glow stretched across the night sky, is not just a breathtaking view. It's the reflection of our true cosmic home. Earlier, we stood on Earth, quietly gazing upward at the Milky Way with wonder. Now imagine you're gently lifting off, rising through drifting clouds, gliding past the moon, slipping beyond the solar system, until you can finally see our galaxy from afar. As the distance grows, tens of thousands of light years apart, the Milky Way's true form begins to unfold before you. No longer a faint mist, but a vast, spiraling disk of stars, gleaming in the quiet of space. Our galaxy is like a colossal flower, slowly turning in the dark. It spans about 100,000 to 120,000 light-years across, yet its thin disk is only about 1,000 light-years thick, astonishingly slender compared to its immense width. If the Milky Way were a plate, it would be impossibly wide and almost flat, with every star like a grain of cosmic dust drifting silently along its surface. From above, the Milky Way reveals not just a spiral, but a barred spiral galaxy. At its heart lies a bright, elongated bar, a bridge of stars stretching through the center, anchoring the galaxy's graceful spin. From each end of that bar, soft spiral arms unwind, curling outward like luminous ribbons embracing the dark. These arms have names as poetic as their form: Carina Sagittarius, Perseus, and nestled between them lies a smaller branch where our Sun and Earth reside, the Orion Cygnus Spur, also called the Orion Arm. We live near the very edge of that tiny arm, about 26,000 light-years from the galactic center. That means every star you see in the night sky, Orion, Lyra, Scorpius, is swirling alongside us in that same arm, moving together in a vast celestial waltz. They are not still. They dance, glittering dust motes spinning through an enormous, timeless rhythm. At the center of this dance lies the bulge, the Milky Way's golden heart. It's home to ancient reddish stars, survivors from the galaxy's earliest days. If you could see it with your eyes, it would blaze like a golden fireball. Billions of stars packed into a space so dense it almost defies imagination. Around it stretches the galactic disk, bright nurseries of new stars, shimmering nebulae, and glowing clouds where the next generations of suns are born. And beyond all of that, enveloping everything, lies the faint halo. The halo is like a ghostly cloak surrounding the galaxy, a vast region containing ancient globular clusters, relics from the universe's youth, and an enormous amount of dark matter that we cannot see. It is this invisible substance that binds the galaxy together, keeping it from flying apart as it spins. Dark matter is the silent rhythm, the unseen conductor of this spiral symphony of hundreds of billions of stars. Interestingly, the Milky Way's disk isn't perfectly flat. It curves gently, like a cosmic petal quivering in the wind of gravity. Scientists believe this ripple may be caused by two of our satellite galaxies, the Large and Small Magellanic Clouds, tugging at the Milky Way with their gravitational pull. So as the galaxy spins, its disk ripples softly, like ocean waves, creating a motion both subtle and endless. A true dance. Slow, elegant, eternal. And here's something astonishing. We've never actually photographed the Milky Way from the outside. Every image you've ever seen labeled Milky Way Galaxy, as beautiful as it is either a reconstruction or a photo of another galaxy that resembles ours. The reason is simple. We live inside it. We are like travelers wandering through a forest, able to see only the trees around us, never the whole forest at once. For centuries, astronomers have patiently stitched together this cosmic map, measuring the positions, distances, and motions of millions of stars, piece by piece, to reveal the grand design. A quiet but monumental task, like someone in the forest drawing the map of the entire woodland, one leaf at a time. And slowly, the picture has emerged. The Milky Way is a barred spiral galaxy, a masterpiece of balance between chaos and order. Within it, light and shadow coexist. Its spiral arms cradle young stars and bright nebulae, while its center glows with the fading fire of the old. Each arm is a river of light, each rotation a breath of time. If you could speed up time by millions of years, you'd see the Milky Way bloom and fold like a living flower, opening and closing forever. A spiraling waltz among the stars, where everything moves, yet the whole feels perfectly still. And within that waltz, we, the tiny beings on our blue planet, are also dancing. Earth, the Sun, and everything we know are quietly orbiting the galactic center on a journey that lasts hundreds of millions of years. None of us will ever see a full rotation, Yet it's comforting to know we're moving together with billions of other stars. So tonight, when you look up and see that misty band across the sky, remember this. You're gazing at the plane of a vast, cosmic dance, where light and gravity weave the universe's most silent melody, a song without a beginning and without an end. Now let your shoulders relax. Let your imagination drift through the glowing spiral arms, past the warm golden bulge, beyond the faint halo. There in the stillness, billions of stars are dancing, together forever, in a spiral waltz across the endless night. A music you cannot hear, but can somehow feel. And within that harmony, no matter how small you are still a note in the grand, eternal song of the Milky Way. As the spiral dance of the galaxy begins to slow in your imagination, you can almost feel those luminous arms curling gently around you, soft, serene, and endless. Along each spiral arm, billions of stars shimmer like floating grains of diamond dust suspended in the velvet dark. And now, we drift closer to listen to the heartbeat of the galaxy, where every beat is the birth, life, and death of a star. If you've ever looked up at the night sky and felt small, imagine that feeling multiplied 100 billion times. Because our Milky Way is a sea of stars so vast that the human mind can barely grasp it. Astronomers estimate that it contains between 100 and 400 billion stars, perhaps even more. No one truly knows the exact number. Counting them is nearly impossible. Thick clouds of interstellar gas and dust obscure our view, and the galaxy itself is so immense that even light takes hundreds of thousands of years to cross it. And yet, humanity keeps trying. From Earth, electronic eyes reach toward the heavens. The Gaia Space Telescope, operated by the European Space Agency, silently measures the positions and motions of over 1 billion stars. 1 billion, it sounds enormous, yet it's only about 1% of the entire galaxy, just a single drop in an ocean of light. If the Milky Way is a cosmic sea, most of its drops are far dimmer than we imagine. Around 70% of all stars here are red dwarfs, tiny, faint, cool stars that glow so softly we can't see them, even when they're relatively close. They burn quietly, consuming their fuel slowly, living for hundreds of billions of years, far longer than the current age of the universe. They are like little candles in the wind, not dazzling, not loud, but patient, steady, and enduring. Scattered among this ocean are rarer, extraordinary beings. Blue-white giants, scorching hot at tens of thousands of degrees, blazing thousands of times brighter than the sun. They live fast and die young, like cosmic fireworks that flare in brilliance before vanishing into darkness. And there are also red supergiants, so enormous that if one were placed where our sun is, its outer edge could engulf the orbit of Mars. One of the largest known is UY Scuti, a red supergiant with a diameter more than 1,700 times that of the Sun. It stands as a reminder that in the universe, grandeur and fragility always coexist. And between these extremes lies the familiar, countless stars like our own Sun, warm, golden, and stable. They make up about 10% of all stars in the Milky Way, and many of them host planets, perhaps worlds like Earth, which means scattered across this galactic sea, there could be hundreds of billions of other suns, each with its own version of a home. But not every star lives forever in light. When a star exhausts its fuel, it may die in a brilliant supernova, leaving behind a neutron star, a tiny sphere more massive than millions of Earths, or a black hole, a lianchati, silent phantom that swallows everything too close. These are the quiet souls of the galaxy, no longer shining, yet still shaping the motion of the stars around them, like memories that linger after the final note of a song. It's almost unbelievable. In this vast sea of light, some stars were born only a few million years ago, while others have existed for over 13 billion years, nearly as old as the universe itself. These ancient stars dwell in globular clusters, hovering in the halo of the galaxy, ancient islands of light, dim but deep with history. And at the heart of it all shines the sun, humble, balanced, and beautifully ordinary. Not large, not small, not young, not old, about 4.6 billion years into its middle age. Just one among countless stellar siblings, yet to us, the beings on a tiny planet circling it, the sun is everything. When you gaze at the night sky and recognize bright stars like Sirius, Arcturus, or constellations like Orion, Cygnus, and Scorpius, they may seem impossibly far. But in truth, they're our nearest neighbors, just tens or hundreds of light years away. Compared to the Milky Way's vastness, that's barely a single step. What we see with the naked eye is only the tiniest fraction of this ocean, the visible tip of a luminous iceberg. So if you ever feel lost, remember, even in the vast darkness of the cosmos, your light is part of that same glowing band. Each star in the Milky Way contributes a thread of brightness to weave that silken ribbon across the sky. What we call the Milky Way is truly the combined glow of billions of distant suns, tiny lamps joining together to paint a river of light that stretches forever. It's like standing at the shore at night, looking at the sea. You can't see each individual wave, only the shimmering reflection of all of them together. In the same way, we cannot count each star. We can only see the collective radiance of this galactic ocean. And within that glow are the sun, the earth, you, and me, all moving together, breathing in rhythm with the cosmos. Close your eyes now, and imagine yourself floating in that ocean, drifting weightlessly among billions of tiny lights. No noise, no haste, only distant stars gliding slowly through eternity, singing the silent song of time. The Milky Way, an endless sea of stars, where every light has its place, and where each of us, no matter how small, is still turning, still shining, within the eternal music of the universe. Amid the endless sea of stars, light seems to pour from every direction. Yet if you look closely, you'll notice dark, winding shapes cutting across the glow of the Milky Way. They're not empty spaces. They're where the light is hidden, veiled behind cosmic mist. After drifting through the starry ocean in the last chapter, now, let's step into the fog of our galaxy, where shadow and light weave together to form the Milky Way's quiet beauty. For the Milky Way is not made of stars alone. It is also woven from gas and interstellar dust, the silent, essential threads of its structure. Astronomers estimate that about 10 to 15% of the galaxy's visible mass is made up of this dust and thin gas drifting between stars. That may sound small, but this invisible matter is what paints the Milky Way's poetic face. Not only the glowing band of silver light, but also the soft strokes of darkness that give it depth, like shadows on a cosmic canvas. When you look up at the Milky Way, have you ever noticed a faint, dark lane slicing through its middle? That shadow is known as the Great Rift. It isn't an actual gap. It's the silhouette of enormous clouds of dust that lie between us and millions of stars beyond. Tiny grains, smaller than 1,000th of a millimeter, absorb starlight, hiding what lies deeper behind them. And so, our night sky becomes a curtain of half light and half shadow, mysterious, tender, and endlessly beautiful. But those clouds of dust are not just veils, they are cradles of creation. Deep within their cold, dense hearts, where even light struggles to enter, matter begins to gather. Atoms of gas and specks of dust draw together under gravity, compressing, heating, until one day a new star is born. These regions are called nebulae, vast clouds of glowing gas and dust lit by young stars within. There are thousands of nebulae scattered throughout the Milky Way, each one a stellar nursery. The Orion Nebula, perhaps the most famous, lies just over 1,300 light-years away. On a clear night, if you gaze at Orion's sword, you'll see a faint, hazy patch. That's Orion's nursery, where thousands of newborn stars are shining through veils of gas. Then there is the Eagle Nebula, home of the legendary pillars of creation. These towering columns of dust, each stretching for dozens of light-years, rise within glowing red clouds, like mountains of mist suspended in space. Inside those pillars, infant stars are forming, wrapped in warm, dusty cocoons, like embryos cradled in the womb of the universe. And when a star grows old and dies, it too leaves behind a nebula, but of a different kind. The Helix Nebula, also called the Eye of the Universe, is what remains of a star once much like our Sun. When its energy ran out, the star shed its outer layers into space, forming a soft, swirling ring of light. From afar, it looks like a giant, watchful eye, calm, gentle, and quietly mournful. In the Milky Way, dust and gas do more than decorate. They keep the galaxy alive. Glowing pink regions where new stars form, dark molecular clouds heavy with promise, and the colorful remnants of supernovae, all interlace to create a living tapestry of brilliance and shadow. Each nebula is a chapter in the galaxy's diary, where life begins and where it ends. And within those tiny grains of dust lies something miraculous. Scientists have found complex organic molecules within interstellar dust, carbon-based compounds, oily and rich. They've nicknamed them cosmic grease. It sounds odd, but yes. Drifting through the cold, silent void are countless greasy carbon particles floating between the stars. They make up as much as 1/4 to 1/2 of all the carbon in our galaxy, 5 times more than astronomers once believed. And carbon, of course, is the foundation of life. Your body, the trees, the animals, even the strands of DNA, all trace back to those simple carbon atoms. So perhaps, somewhere within those dusty clouds, the seeds of life were first sown. From the darkness of a nebula, a new star might one day ignite, surrounded by planets. And maybe on one of those distant worlds, someone will look up at their sky and see a faint glowing band, and give it their own name for the Milky Way. When you think of that, dust no longer feels like an obstacle to light. It becomes the material of creation, the paint of the universe's eternal masterpiece. Each supernova, each new nebula, each grain of dust is a brushstroke on the ever-evolving canvas of the cosmos. If before we drifted through the bright sea of stars, now we float through the galaxy's ocean of mist. Everything feels softer, slower, quieter. The streaks of light blur into the haze, and the nebulae hover like luminous clouds, glowing faintly with distant starlight. Imagine flying through that dusty realm, a space without sound, where gentle waves of light shimmer through silken fog. Around you, thousands of stars flicker like faraway fireflies, surrounded by clouds of rose, emerald, and gold. No two nebulae are the same. Each breathes in its own rhythm, each dreams its own dream. It's as though the galaxy itself is asleep, and you are listening to its dreams. Amid this haze, you realize the universe is not made of light alone. It is also built from shadow. It is not only where stars burn, it is where they are born. These dreamy nebulae are the cradles of the galaxy, rocking newborn stars into their first sleep, and gently rocking us, too, into the tender dream of a boundless, star-filled universe. As we drift past the Milky Way's glowing clouds of dust and radiant nebulae, the birthplaces of stars, you can almost feel the gentle rhythm of the cosmos. Each nebula is a cradle of life, and each grain of dust a spark of beginning. But where there is a beginning, there must also be an end, a place where light itself comes to rest, where everything is swallowed by absolute silence. Now, let me take you deeper, into the very heart of the Milky Way, a place both magnificent and terrifying, where the galaxy keeps its greatest secret, a supermassive black hole, the point where light ends. Amid billions of stars swirling in their celestial dance, there is a center toward which all things are drawn, a vast, dark heart. At the center of the constellation Sagittarius, astronomers have discovered an object called Sagittarius I, pronounced A star. It is the Milky Way's supermassive black hole, a cosmic being with a mass nearly 4 million times that of the Sun, compressed into a region no larger than the orbit of Mercury. This is a place where light itself cannot escape, a realm of perfect darkness, where every law of physics we know seems to unravel. Matter, time, energy, all fall inward, spiraling into an invisible vortex with no return. Surrounding Sagittarius A is a disk of glowing gas and dust, the final light before oblivion. As matter falls toward the black hole, it heats up to millions of degrees, shining brightly just before being devoured. If you could see it with your eyes, it would look like a swirling whirlpool of fire against the blackness of space, its center a perfect shadow, the mouth of nothingness. Around this dark core, the stars are not still. They race around it at furious speeds, like dancers spinning around an invisible stage. One of the most famous is star S2, 15 times brighter than our Sun, yet completing an orbit around Sagittarius A in just 16 years. At its closest, it moves at 7,600 kilometers per second, about 2 to 3% at the speed of light. By studying orbits like S2's, astronomers confirmed the immense hidden mass at the center, proof that a supermassive black hole truly reigns there. To us, observing from 26,000 light-years away, the galactic core is a hazy mystery. Visible light cannot pierce the dense clouds of dust that shroud it, and for centuries, humanity could only imagine what lay behind that veil. Only in recent decades have we been able to see through the darkness, using infrared and X-ray telescopes to peer into the heart of our galaxy. Through these cosmic windows, we've glimpsed a crowded, chaotic realm, millions of stars crammed within just a few light years, gas clouds torn apart, and at the center, a heavy, silent shadow, like a sleeping soul. Then came a historic moment. In 2022, humanity achieved the impossible. Using the Event Horizon Telescope, a global network linking observatories across Earth, we captured the first real image of Sagittarius A, a glowing orange-red ring surrounding a perfect black circle, the shadow of the black hole itself, where even light cannot return. For the first time, we saw the Milky Way's heart, not through myth, but through truth and light. But the story doesn't end there. From the galactic center, scientists have detected two enormous Fermi bubbles, towering tens of thousands of light-years above and below the galactic plane. They are vast gamma-ray plumes, the relics of a colossal outburst millions of years ago, perhaps from a time when Sagittarius A consumed too much matter at once and erupted, sending twin jets of energy bursting through the galaxy's core. Even now, those bubbles glow faintly, scars left behind by an ancient cosmic storm. And yet, the heart of the Milky Way is not pure darkness. Amid the shadow, millions of old red stars still burn quietly, circling the black hole like embers around a fading fire. Clouds of gas shimmer faintly, clusters of stars press together, making the galaxy's dark heart both haunting and alive. If you could stand there in the galactic nucleus, the sky above you would blaze 100 times brighter than the one over Earth. Every direction would be filled with light, every star only weeks, not years, apart. And yet, in the center of all that brilliance, there would be a single spot that does not shine, a deep, consuming silence. A black hole is not the monster we once feared. It is more like a silent artist, drawing everything inward, light, matter, even time, and keeping them still. Its stillness gives the galaxy its order, its structure, its rhythm. Without it, the Milky Way would unravel, a dance with no center, no beat. So perhaps what we call the dark heart is in truth the heart of balance. It does not shine, yet it allows all other light to exist. It is the pause between notes, the deep, resonant silence that makes every bright sound more meaningful. Now close your eyes. Imagine yourself drifting slowly toward the center of the galaxy. All around you, billions of stars whirl like glowing dust. The only sound is the slow, steady pulse of the cosmos. Thump, thump, the echo of that invisible heart. The light fades, then disappears entirely. Only silence remains, infinite, weightless, eternal. Time stands still. Space folds inward. And in that darkness, you realize something profound, that even when light ceases, the universe still breathes. This is the place where light ends, where all things begin, and where all things return. After leaving the dark heart of the Milky Way, where light is swallowed by the silence of Sagittarius A, we drift outward again, back toward the circling stars that dance around it. From that fiery core, billions of suns continue their slow motion, carried along by the galaxy's eternal rhythm. No longer the chaos of the black hole, but a gentler, grander rotation, as if the entire galaxy is breathing. Now let's listen together to that quiet, endless dance, a dance that includes the Earth, the Sun, and you. If you think the night sky is still, that's only an illusion of time. In truth, nothing in the Milky Way ever stands still. Everything, from the tiniest speck of dust to the greatest star, is in motion, turning in a vast spiral dance that unfolds too slowly for a single human lifetime to perceive. Let's begin with our own star, the Sun. The Sun, along with the entire solar system, is racing around the center of the Milky Way at about 220 kilometers per second, nearly 800,000 kilometers per hour. At that speed, in a single second, we travel twice the distance between the Earth and the Moon, and yet, we feel nothing. Everything moves so smoothly, so quietly. It's as if the universe itself is rocking us gently to sleep. But this orbit is unimaginably long. The Sun takes about 250 million years to complete just one circuit around the galaxy. One galactic year. The last time our solar system was in this same position, Earth was ruled by dinosaurs, and the continents were still drifting apart. When it completes its next orbit, Humanity as we know it may be long gone, and our planet might be unrecognizable. It's strange to think that every breath you take is part of that journey. The silent flight of our solar system through the cosmic sea. There is no beginning, no end, only endless circles spiraling through space and time. And of course, the sun is not alone. Every star in the Milky Way's disk takes part in this rotation. But they don't all move in perfect sync. Each has its own orbit, its own rhythm, determined by its position and mass. Stars near the galactic center move faster, like dancers at the inner ring of a waltz, while those farther out glide more slowly. Yet here's the mystery. The outer stars move faster than physics predicts. By all logic, the farther from the center, the weaker the gravity, so they should slow down, just as planets farther from the sun take longer to orbit. But that's not what happens. The stars at the edge of the Milky Way move almost as fast as those near the core. For decades, astronomers puzzled over this. The only explanation that fits, something unseen, is holding everything together. And thus was born the idea of dark matter. Dark matter does not shine or reflect light. It doesn't interact with ordinary matter, but it exerts gravity. It surrounds the galaxy like a vast, invisible halo, a colossal cloak wrapping around the Milky Way, keeping the stars from flying apart as it spins. By current estimates, only 10 to 15% of the Milky Way's mass is made of things we can see. Stars, gas, dust, nebulae. The remaining 85–90% is dark matter, unseen, untouchable, but undeniably there. And in a beautiful irony, it's this invisible substance that gives the visible its form. Like silence in music, it's the space between the notes that makes the melody profound. The Milky Way's total mass is estimated to be between 700 billion and 2 trillion solar masses. The exact number remains uncertain, because we still don't know what dark matter truly is. But whatever it may be, it keeps our galaxy whole and stable over billions of years. Without that shadowy foundation, the Milky Way might have unraveled long ago, its stars drifting away like dust on a cosmic wind. And within that grand rotation, subtler motions ripple beneath. Stars don't just orbit. They also oscillate up and down through the galactic plane, like gentle waves rippling across the surface of water. Each time the Milky Way brushes past a smaller satellite galaxy, those ripples spread outward, creating delicate stellar waves that move through the disk. Slow, graceful, eternal. All of this unfolds in utter quiet, far too gradual for us to sense. Each night we look up and see a sky that seems still, but in truth, every one of those stars is hurtling through space at hundreds of kilometers per second, all spinning together in an endless cosmic waltz. And the most beautiful part? We are inside that dance, unknowingly, effortlessly. We move with billions of other stars, orbiting the galaxy's invisible heart. The rhythm of existence, the rhythm of time. Every breath, every heartbeat is a tiny echo of that motion. If you sit in stillness, you might even feel it. A faint sound, not one you can hear, but one your mind can sense. A low, continuous hum, steady and soft. The heartbeat of the universe. Not loud, not fast, just deep, round, and warm, like the breath of something vast, alive and dreaming. And maybe that stillness is the true wonder. Because in the vastness of space, among billions of stars following their own paths, there is no chaos, no collision, only perfect harmony. A rhythm so immense, so delicate, it feels orchestrated by the invisible hand of the cosmos. Imagine yourself now, standing on a small planet adrift in that darkness. Around you, everything is moving, slow, quiet, steady. The Earth spins around the Sun. The Sun circles the Milky Way, and the Milky Way itself swirls through the universe. There is no pause, no ending, only motion everlasting. The silent dance of the Milky Way. And as you drift towards sleep tonight, let your body fall into that rhythm. You are not still, you are moving gracefully with the galaxy itself. All of us are. We are spinning within a wordless song, written in light and shadow, a melody carried on the slow turning of time. Tonight, when you close, your eyes remember. Though you lie still upon the earth, you are drifting softly, silently, in the great cosmic dance around the heart of the Milky Way. As we finish listening to the silent waltz of the Milky Way, where billions of stars twirl together around the galactic heart, imagine the scene not as stillness, but as a great, slow-moving ballet suspended in space. Yet the universe is not only graceful, it is also full of collisions, mergers, and rebirths. Every galaxy, even our Milky Way, carries a history written in encounters, some gentle, others violent. And each time galaxies meet, the sky witnesses what might be called a cosmic meteor shower. Not the fleeting streaks we see on summer nights, but true rivers of stars, falling slowly over hundreds of millions of years. Our Milky Way is not alone. It is surrounded by a family of small, faint satellite galaxies, quietly orbiting it like silver moons around a vast world. Astronomers have identified more than 50 of these companions, and there may be many more hiding in the dark. The two most visible are the large and small Magellanic Clouds, bright, misty patches easily seen from the southern hemisphere. If you stand one clear night in the deserts of Chile or Australia, you'll see them. Two pale smudges of light, hanging near the Milky Way, like twin breaths of silver fog. They are not just travelers, but dancers, partners in a slow gravitational duet that has lasted billions of years. The Milky Way's gravity tugs at them, and in return, they tug back, slightly warping our galaxy's disk, bending it like a soft, rippling pedal. But not all satellites are so lucky. Some drift too close, too small to resist the Milky Way's pull. They are torn apart and slowly absorbed, like sparks falling into a cosmic storm. One of the most famous victims is the Sagittarius dwarf galaxy, located in the constellation Sagittarius, the very region where our galaxy's core lies. The Milky Way is currently tearing it to pieces, stretching its stars into long, faint streams that wrap around us like a pale ribbon of light. Astronomers have mapped these stellar streams, forming ghostly arcs encircling the Milky Way, proof of an ongoing galactic merger. And Sagittarius is not alone. Another, the Canis Major dwarf galaxy, lies even closer to the center, also being gently consumed. Its stars, once belonging to another realm, are falling into the Milky Way's orbit, joining our vast collection of suns. Through such quiet feasts, our galaxy has grown, not through violence, but through patience, over billions of years, like water slowly shaping stone. When a small galaxy is devoured, it does not vanish immediately. Its stars remain, pulled into elongated trails that drift around the Milky Way like soft, silvery ribbons. These are the forgotten meteor showers of the cosmos, starfalls that last not seconds, but millions of centuries. Those orphaned stars, once part of another home, now belong to ours, blending into the Milky Way's dance, lost among billions of new brothers and sisters. Modern telescopes have discovered dozens of these star streams in the galactic halo, fossil traces of ancient unions. Each stream is a page in the Milky Way's diary, chronicling its meetings, absorptions, and transformations. Through them, astronomers can retrace our galaxy's history, like archaeologists reading inscriptions carved into a desert of light. Beyond the dwarf galaxies, the Milky Way is also surrounded by about 150 globular clusters, dense, ancient swarms of stars, drifting like glowing fireflies around the halo. Each cluster contains hundreds of thousands of old suns bound tightly by gravity. They are nearly as old as the galaxy itself, around 13 billion years, silent witnesses to the dawn of time. These clusters, too, are companions, not consumed, but forever circling within the galaxy's gravitational embrace. If you could see the Milky Way from afar, you would find not just a shining spiral disk, but a halo speckled with hundreds of tiny lights, remnants of ancient galaxies, star clusters, and long trails of stars curving like meteor streaks through the dark. Together, they tell one story. The story of a galaxy that is constantly becoming something new. Our Milky Way was not born in isolation. It is the result of dozens of mergers, of smaller galaxies dissolving into its luminous body. Every star you see in the night sky might once have belonged to another world, a traveler from a distant galaxy now at home among us. The Milky Way, our home, is in truth a blend, a symphony composed from the light of countless ancient worlds. Isn't that astonishing? When you look up and see a single twinkling star, you might be gazing at a refugee, one that journeyed hundreds of millions of years across space to join our galactic family. And the Milky Way, patient and vast, has gathered them all, growing by welcoming the remnants of others. The universe, though vast and quiet, has its own current, a flow so slow we can't feel it, but one that never stops. Galaxies collide, melt, and merge like droplets joining into an ocean. So too does the Milky Way. Each newborn star, each stream of absorbed light, is part of its slow, cosmic breath. Even now, as you listen to these words, lying in the calm of night, that process continues. Far away, another dwarf galaxy may already be drifting closer, its stars stretching thin, its light dissolving like rain in space. A celestial meteor shower is happening right now, so slow that no one will ever witness it fully, yet undeniably real. The universe is never in a hurry. What seems to us like thousands of generations is, to it, just a single moment. And perhaps in that slowness, it teaches us the most beautiful truth of all, that every change, no matter how slow, carries its own quiet grace. So when you see a shooting star tonight, remember, somewhere in the Milky Way, another streak of light is falling too. A river of stars gently descending into our galaxy, softly, silently, forever. A forgotten meteor shower still falling in the eternal hush of the cosmos. The forgotten meteor showers still fall, slowly, silently, over millions of years, as small galaxies dissolve into the Milky Way, feeding their light into their greater mother. But when we lift our gaze beyond our own galactic borders, we begin to see, no matter how magnificent the Milky Way may seem, it is but a grain of sand in an infinite ocean. If the Milky Way is a dazzling city, then the universe is a vast cosmic metropolis, where billions of other cities of light shine and drift through the dark. Now let's look outward to see where our home truly lies in this grand cosmic sea. From within, the Milky Way feels like the entire world. Hundreds of billions of stars, countless nebulae, planets, and quiet, drifting storms of light. But it is not alone. Like an island floating in a cosmic ocean, Our galaxy belongs to a small neighborhood called the local group. This group contains more than 50 galaxies, all bound together by gravity. The two largest are the Milky Way, our home, and Andromeda, its slightly larger sister, about 2.5 million light-years away. That distance is so vast that even if you could travel at the speed of light, it would still take more than 2 million years to reach her. And yet, in the grand scale of the universe, Andromeda is our closest neighbor. On the darkest of nights, far from city lights, you can actually see her, Andromeda Galaxy, a faint, misty smudge hanging in the blackness. Few realize that this soft glow is an entire galaxy, home to trillions of stars, each perhaps with its own planets. And who knows, maybe among them are beings looking up at their sky, wondering about us. Within the local group, besides Andromeda and the Milky Way, there's also the smaller but striking Triangulum Galaxy, shining brightly through a telescope. The rest are mostly faint dwarf galaxies, tiny islands of light orbiting the two giants at the center. Among them are the large and small Magellanic Clouds, our graceful companions, satellites dancing around the Milky Way, both partners and captives in a timeless gravitational embrace. The entire local group stretches across roughly 10 million light-years, a vast expanse, yet small on the scale of the cosmos. And even that neighborhood is but a tiny village within a far larger realm. Because our local group sits at the edge of something immense, the Virgo supercluster, a colossal city of galaxies containing hundreds of galaxy groups spread across more than 110 million light-years. Within it, galaxies gather into clusters, orbiting shared centers of gravity, forming a web of light that threads through the darkness like golden filaments woven into cosmic cloth. But if we continue to zoom out, far beyond even the Virgo supercluster, we find that this too is only one branch of an even grander structure. Discovered in 2014, called Laniakea, a Hawaiian word meaning immense heaven. Laniakea is our true cosmic home, a kingdom of light containing over 100,000 galaxies, spanning more than 500 million light-years. And in one quiet corner of it, the Milky Way glimmers softly, a single sparkle drifting through an endless current of galaxies. From that vantage point, all the grandeur of our galaxy becomes humbling. Our hundreds of billions of stars, seemingly countless, are just one tiny droplet of light among trillions of others. It's as if every galaxy were a single star, and the Milky Way just one shining point in the sky of galaxies. But don't be disheartened by our smallness, for in the vastness of the universe, even the smallest thing has its own kind of beauty. It reminds us that every light, no matter how faint, still has a place, a role, in the infinite pattern of existence. All these galaxies, too, are not still. They move together, flowing through space in their own rhythm. Our local group is falling slowly toward the center of the Virgo supercluster, and the Virgo supercluster itself is drifting through the expanding universe. Scientists have measured that the Milky Way is moving at roughly 600 kilometers per second relative to the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang. That means every second we travel 600 kilometers through space, over 2.2 million kilometers per hour. And yet, do you feel it? No, because it happens in perfect stillness. No wind, no vibration, no sound. Only quiet. These immense motions unfold over billions of years, smooth as a river of starlight, where galaxies drift like petals floating on a luminous tide. Amid that flow, the Milky Way and its companions, Andromeda, Triangulum, Magellanic Clouds, remain bound together by a delicate but enduring gravitational thread. It's as if, Within the vast loneliness of the cosmos, we still have a small family, galaxies journeying side by side through the same current, the same long voyage. If the Milky Way is humanity's home, then the local group is our cosmic village, the Virgo supercluster our continent, and Laniakea, the great heaven, our universe-wide world. The farther we look, the smaller we seem, yet the more we feel we belong. Now imagine yourself looking from far, far away, from outside the universe itself. Before you stretches a web of golden light, filaments of galaxies intertwined like threads in a divine tapestry. And in one tiny corner, a faint sparkle, the Milky Way. There lies Earth. There lies you, resting in the quiet arms of the universe. A small galaxy among countless larger ones, a single note in the endless symphony of the cosmos. And so far, the only place we know where there is life, breath, and dreams. When we look far enough, when we see the Milky Way as just a tiny speck of light among the endless sea of galaxies, something stirs inside us. A strange mix of humility and warmth. Because among the billions of wandering galaxies out there, we are not alone. We have quiet companions, cosmic neighbors drifting with us through the dark. And among them, there is one who has always been there, watching us for billions of years, drawing closer with every heartbeat of the universe. One day, she will meet us again, in a grand reunion written by destiny. Her name is Andromeda. Right now, Andromeda lies about 2.5 million light-years away, an impossible distance to imagine. Yet on the map of the cosmos, she is our nearest neighbor. On a dark, moonless night far from city lights, you can see her with your naked eye, a faint, misty glow stretched softly across the heavens. Few realize that that delicate smear of light is not a single star, but a galaxy larger than our own, containing over 1 trillion suns, twice as many as the Milky Way. And here's the wonder. Andromeda is coming toward us, at a quiet but unstoppable pace, about 400,000 kilometers per hour. She is drifting closer, pulled by the invisible thread of gravity. It's a motion too slow to see, yet utterly certain. The two galaxies are being drawn together, preparing for a cosmic dance, a slow, graceful waltz that will unfold over billions of years. The dance of destiny. In about 4 billion years, that encounter will begin. If Earth and life still exist then, the night sky will be transformed. The familiar constellations will fade, and on the horizon, a great glow will rise. Andromeda, swelling larger each night. At first, a faint blur, then a shining arch, until finally, she fills half the sky, 2 galaxies touching in light. But don't imagine destruction. This will not be an apocalypse, but a masterpiece. One of the most breathtaking events the universe will ever stage. Even though both galaxies contain billions of stars, the distances between those stars are so immense that very few will ever collide. Instead, their gravity will twist and stretch each other's shapes, pulling their spiral arms into glowing ribbons, luminous golden streams woven together in space. Vast clouds of gas will crash and ignite, triggering brilliant bursts of starbirth. Fireworks of creation scattered across the sky, picture it. If you stood on a planet orbiting our sun during that time, the night sky would no longer hold a thin band of light. It would be a storm of color and brilliance. Half the sky glowing red, the other half bathed in pale gold, as stars dance like fireflies across the darkness. A cosmic symphony, slow, silent, and utterly magnificent. Over hundreds of millions of years, the familiar spiral shapes of both galaxies will fade away. Their arms will unravel, Their cores merge, and together they will form a new being, a single, giant galaxy. Astronomers already have a name for her, Milkomeda, a blend of Milky Way and Andromeda. Some simulations suggest Andromeda, being slightly larger, will take the lead, guiding the dance like a graceful partner. But others show they are evenly matched, two equals, twirling together in perfect harmony, merging not through conquest, but through unity. Whatever the outcome, one thing is certain. The Milky Way, as we know it, will cease to exist. But that is not an ending. It is a transformation. Like a song resolving into its final chord only to begin anew, our galaxy will become something greater, brighter, broader, and more mature than ever before. The sun, if it still burns by then, may be flung farther toward the galaxy's edge, and the Earth, if it survives, will see a sky no one has ever known. No slender Milky Way, but a glowing field of ancient red stars, a reflection of countless suns fading and being reborn. And somewhere within that light, new worlds will form, new homes for life, for dreamers, for wonder. Thinking of that far future, we realize something profound. The universe does not stand still. Galaxies are not eternal. Even our Milky Way, the home we once thought unchanging, is only passing through a chapter of its evolution. The meeting of the Milky Way and Andromeda is not destruction. It is a cosmic ritual as old as time. Two galaxies, after billions of years of drifting apart, finally finding one another again, not colliding as enemies, but embracing as long-lost friends, spinning together in the silent music of light. And as you lie in the dark tonight, listening to these words, imagine it. A future sky filled not with a single Milky Way, but with an ocean of blended starlight. Two souls intertwined in infinity. One day, far, far from now, the Milky Way will dance its destined dance with Andromeda. A waltz without beginning or end. Only union, only motion, only rebirth. When we finish our journey into the distant future, where the Milky Way and Andromeda drift slowly toward their destined embrace billions of years from now, perhaps you find yourself wondering, if that is the Milky Way's future, then what about its past? Was there ever a beginning, a time when our galaxy was nothing more than a whisper of mist in the newborn darkness of the universe? To understand where the Milky Way is going, we must first travel backward, across time itself, more than 13 billion years, to the dawn of everything. So close your eyes and drift with me, back through clouds of ancient dust, back to the age when our galaxy was only a dream forming in the cradle of a young cosmos. The universe today is about 13.7 billion years old, and scientists believe the Milky Way was born not long after the Big Bang, just a few 100 million years later. That means our galaxy is roughly 13.6 billion years old, almost as ancient as the universe itself. In the beginning, it looked nothing like the majestic spiral we know. Back then, the Milky Way was just vast clouds of hydrogen and helium, drifting through the cosmic void. Under the pull of gravity, those clouds began to collapse, compressing, heating, and igniting into the first stars. They were the first lights in the cosmic night, burning themselves into existence, creating illumination where there had only been darkness. Those ancient stars are mostly gone now, but some of their witnesses remain, the globular clusters that still orbit the Milky Way. Many of these clusters are over 13 billion years old, preserving in their chemistry the original fingerprints of the universe, untouched by later generations of stars. Each one is a living fossil, a glowing time capsule from before the sun, before the Earth, before life itself. In its youth, the Milky Way was small, only about 1/10 its current size. To grow, it fed on smaller galaxies, slowly merging and consuming them over billions of years. The long, quiet banquets of gravity we spoke of earlier. Each merger reshaped it, sometimes warped, sometimes chaotic, until after eons of evolution, the galaxy settled into a calm, flat spiral, the shape we know today. That happened roughly 10 to 12 billion years ago, the Milky Way's true coming of age. At its heart lies the bulge, the oldest part of the galaxy, filled with dense, ancient stars. The spiral arms came later, birthing new generations of suns. If we imagine the Milky Way as a great cosmic tree, its bulge would be the ancient root, while its arms are the new branches, ever growing, ever reaching toward the light. But its story was not one of steady growth. There was a time, about 7 billion years ago, when the Milky Way may have died. Evidence suggests the galaxy nearly stopped forming new stars, as though it had exhausted its strength after billions of years of creation. The fires dimmed, the birthplaces of stars fell, silent, and a great cosmic slumber began. Then, around 5 billion years ago, something remarkable happened. The Milky Way awoke again. Star formation reignited, brighter, fiercer, more abundant than before. It was a phoenix moment, a galaxy reborn from its own ashes. Astronomers found the proof of this rebirth in the stars themselves. The Milky Way contains two distinct populations. One rich in alpha elements, the relics of the ancient stars born in its first youth. Another poorer in those elements, the younger generation, born after a long pause. Between them lies the evidence of a great silence, a gap of billions of years, the heartbeat between two lives. If this is true, then the Milky Way we live in is a zombie galaxy, one that has died once, only to live again. It carries the memories of two lifetimes, an ancient survivor of the early universe, and a resurrected being born from its own ruins. And that resurrection had meaning. For during its death, countless old stars exploded as supernovae, scattering heavy elements, iron, oxygen, carbon, gold, silver, into the void. These ashes seeded the next generation of stars. From that stardust, about 4.6 billion years ago, our own sun was born, inside a cloud rich with the metals of long-dead suns. Around it, planets began to form. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and on one small, fragile world, life opened its eyes. When you think about it this way, you realize every atom in your body, the carbon in your lungs, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, was once forged in the heart of a star. Every breath you take carries the memory of a supernova. Every heartbeat is an echo from the dawn of time. You don't just live in the universe. You are the universe come alive. Through more than 13 billion years, the Milky Way has lived through endless cycles of birth and death. Stars ignite, burn, collapse, and scatter their remains, giving rise to new stars in their place. It is an unending rhythm. Creation, decay, rebirth. A rhythm mirrored in every form of life, in every one of us. And even now, as you listen to these words, that story continues. Out there in the spiral arms of the galaxy, new stars are being born, quietly lighting the darkness, carrying forward a 13 billion year tradition of cosmic ancestry. So the next time you look up at the night sky and see a faint star glimmering in the distance, remember, its light may have left long before humanity existed, and within that light lives the story of the Milky Way's own beginning. A tale of birth, death, and eternal rebirth, whispered across the ages by the stars themselves. As we leave behind our journey through time, having witnessed the Milky Way's birth in the fiery dawn of the cosmos, we now know that our galaxy was woven from generations of stars, lights that burned, died, and left behind the ashes that formed the sun, the earth, and even us. But if the sun is only one among hundreds of billions of stars, then around those other stars, could there be other worlds quietly turning? Worlds with oceans, with winds, with someone looking up at their sky and wondering, is anyone out there? The universe has never belonged to us alone. So tonight, let's drift softly through this endless sea of stars to visit the quiet worlds that circle distant suns, the places that might be dreaming the same dreams as we do. For thousands of years, humans have gazed upward and asked, do those stars have their own suns, their own earths, their own people? Long ago, that question belonged to poetry. But today, science whispers the answer. Yes. Almost every star we see likely has planets of its own. That means our Milky Way, home to between 100 and 400 billion stars, could also cradle hundreds of billions of worlds. Perhaps even more, since many stars have not one planet, but 2, 3, or entire families of them. Through missions like Kepler, TESS, and the James Webb Space Telescope, humanity has begun to glimpse these distant realms. From tiny flickers of light, astronomers have confirmed over 5,000 exoplanets, real worlds orbiting other suns. Yet that number is just a whisper of the whole. By statistical estimates, our galaxy could hold more than 100 billion planets, with tens of billions roughly the size of Earth. Pause for a moment to imagine. When you look at the night sky and see countless stars twinkling, each one isn't just a point of light. It's a sun, with its own planets circling around it. Some of those planets may be frozen, their suns dim and distant. Others may be scorched, baked by relentless heat. And somewhere between those extremes are the just right worlds. The ones in what scientists call the habitable zone, where liquid water can exist. And water, as we know, is the stage on which life loves to perform. If even a fraction of those stars host such a world, then within the Milky Way alone, there could be tens of billions of Earth-like planets. That makes it almost certain that somewhere out there, in the quiet between the stars, life exists. And yet so far, Earth remains the only world we know for sure that breathes. That truth is both wondrous and haunting. In the vast ocean of space, our planet is a small blue island, carrying the entire story of life the universe has told so far. Still, there are whispers, clues that life might not be so rare. We've found water vapor in the atmospheres of distant worlds, amino acids in meteorites, and organic molecules drifting through interstellar clouds. Carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, the basic ingredients of life, are scattered everywhere. If the recipe is written across the stars, can life truly be an accident? Or have we simply not yet learned how to listen? Every now and then, astronomers receive strange signals from space, bursts of radio waves, repeating pulses, cosmic letters written in static. The most famous was the WOW signal in 1977, a powerful, clear transmission lasting only 72 seconds, and then never heard again. Its source remains a mystery. Perhaps it was natural, or perhaps it was a hello, whispered across the dark. But maybe the beauty of the universe lies not in the answer, but in the waiting. The magic of the night sky isn't in understanding it. It's in feeling that maybe, somewhere, someone is watching the same stars, wondering the same things. Maybe they're sitting on a faraway planet, orbiting a distant sun, looking toward the Milky Way and asking, "Is anyone there?" Science hasn't found proof yet, but the heart of the cosmos seems to tell us we are not alone, because the universe doesn't bloom with only one flower in its endless field. If life could blossom once here on Earth, then surely other seeds have sprouted elsewhere, perhaps as tiny microbes beneath alien ice, or civilizations older and wiser than we can imagine. And maybe even now, as we send our faint radio whispers into space, they are doing the same. Two voices calling across the void, listening for each other in a conversation that may take millennia to answer. The more we ponder it, the clearer it becomes. The universe is not silent. It is filled with whispers. We only need patience and stillness to hear them. So tonight, lie back beneath the stars. Close your eyes. Every point of light above you is a sun, and around each sun, there may be worlds, with silver oceans, soft winds, and unfamiliar skies. Perhaps one of those worlds is looking back, seeing the faint band of the Milky Way and wondering, in that distant river of light, is someone thinking of us? The Milky Way, with its billions of stars and uncountable planets, is not just a picture of matter, but a symphony of possibilities. Each world a note, each light a melody, and among them all, Earth is only a single, fragile tune. But maybe, just maybe, it's the one that makes the music whole. So next time you look at the night sky, don't just see stars. See worlds, silent, dreaming, waiting. Other homes of the cosmos, where life might be dreaming of you, just as you dream of them. As we close the chapter on the silent worlds orbiting distant suns, where hundreds of billions of planets drift quietly in the dark, a realization settles in. The Milky Way is not only a galaxy of light and motion. It is a symphony, a vast cosmic piece of music in which every star, every nebula, every radio wave is a note softly resonating through space. These are sounds we cannot yet hear, melodies beyond human ears, as if the galaxy itself were whispering its story. And if you listen closely, in stillness, you might just feel those whispers, weaving through the night, carrying you gently towards sleep in the cradle of the cosmos. Close your eyes. Imagine the sky draped in black velvet and the Milky Way stretching across it like a ribbon of silver silk. It doesn't blaze like fireworks, nor shout like crowds. It glows quietly, the light of serenity. Like an old storyteller, the galaxy leans close, whispering of secrets untold, of ages older than every civilization, of journeys longer than time itself. Together, we've drifted through 101 stories, from the Milky Way's dawn, through its spiral arms, its black holes, its nebulas, its planets, and its dreams of life. And now, at the end, there are no more answers to chase, only things to listen to. Listen to the galaxy breathing. Listen to the universe hum. Listen to silence telling its story. For all we've learned, the Milky Way remains a mystery. We know it spans over 100,000 light-years, holds hundreds of billions of stars and worlds, and hides a supermassive black hole at its heart. Yet these are only surface details, the faint outlines of something infinitely deeper. Every discovery gives rise to more questions, like ripples unfolding across the ocean of knowledge. What is dark matter, the invisible substance making up 85% of the galaxy's mass? What truly happens within Sagittarius AI, our central black hole? Is it a destroyer or a womb for new beginnings? Did the Milky Way truly die once and then come back to life? And above all, are we alone? or merely one of countless listeners tuned to the same cosmic melody. Each question is a pause, a rest in the music of the galaxy, not meant to be solved, only to be felt. We are living in the golden age of discovery. New observatories, Gaia, James Webb, the VLT, and soon Vera Rubin, are redrawing the portrait of our galaxy with breathtaking clarity. Gaia has mapped the positions and motions of over 1 billion stars, crafting the first true 3D map of our cosmic home, as if humanity were finally learning to see itself from within. James Webb, with its delicate infrared eyes, peers through thick curtains of dust to witness the birthplaces of stars, glimpsing the galaxy's past through light that has traveled for millennia. And soon, the Vera Rubin Observatory, with its legacy survey of space and time, will capture the entire sky every night for 10 years, revealing ghostly star streams, wandering planets, perhaps even faint signatures of life. These instruments do more than help us look, they help us listen. The Milky Way speaks in light, in radio waves, in X-rays and gamma rays, a chorus of frequencies whispering across space. And humankind, driven by curiosity and patience, is slowly learning to translate the language of the cosmos. Yet even as our knowledge grows, the galaxy keeps part of itself hidden. Like a wise old narrator, it always stops just before the final revelation, leaving us in awe, suspended in wonder. Perhaps that's why the Milky Way will forever be beautiful. It never runs out of mystery. It keeps us wanting to look again, to ask again, to dream again. While we measure, calculate, and analyze every photon of light, the galaxy continues its patient waltz, gentle, steady, eternal, enfolding all of us within its quiet rhythm. Here on Earth, a tiny speck near the galactic edge, people still look up, children watching stars from their windows, scientists studying data deep into the night, all doing the same thing, listening to the Milky Way tell its story, each in their own way. And one day, when we've gone far enough, when we finally look back at our galaxy from the outside, perhaps we'll realize that no matter how far we travel, the Milky Way will always be home. Because in this vast universe, this is the place where sunlight has warmed our skin, where the sound of our heartbeat has echoed, where humanity first dared to dream of the stars. Now imagine yourself lying beneath the night sky. Above you, the Milky Way stretches like a soft, glowing ribbon, quietly shining through billions of years of light. Every star is a note, every planet a breath, and the galaxy itself an endless symphony, lulling you to sleep beneath the tender hand of the cosmos. Take a deep breath. In that moment, you'll feel it. You're not just looking at the Milky Way. You are part of it. The light in your eyes once belonged to ancient stars. The iron in your blood was forged in stellar hearts. Every breath you take carries the dust of the galaxy itself. As we drift away from the whispers of the Milky Way, where the galaxy hums softly like an old storyteller, cradling us in its pale silver light, let's imagine for a moment. What if we could listen not with our ears, but with our hearts? What if we had cosmic ears, sensitive enough to hear the music of the stars? Because the universe has never been silent. It simply sings at frequencies we are not yet quiet enough to feel. If you could truly hear the sound of the cosmos, perhaps the Milky Way would unfold as an endless symphony. No instruments, no conductor, only light, waves, and energy weaving together in a melody far beyond human hearing. Our galaxy doesn't shine only in the narrow band of visible light. It sings in radio waves, in X-rays, in gamma rays, in infrared whispers, and even in gravitational waves. Delicate ripples that tremble through the very fabric of space and time. That is the language of the universe, the music of the unseen. Imagine yourself floating in the heart of the Milky Way. The airless void is utterly still. No sound can travel there. And yet, everything around you vibrates. Young stars emit faint radio pulses, like the low, distant notes of a cosmic drum. Supernova remnants glow in sharp X-rays, their energy humming like the shimmering strings of a celestial harp. At the center, around the black hole Sagittarius A, radio waves swirl and echo, the deep bass of an invisible orchestra. Astronomers have captured these songs, not through their ears, but through electromagnetic data. When they convert radio waves into audible sound, they hear clicks, hums, and drones, an abstract, hypnotic symphony. Each tiny vibration in the cosmos tells a story of a dying star, a nebula being born, or a lonely planet silently circling its sun. And sometimes, the Milky Way plays with ferocious power. When two neutron stars collide, the dense remnants of ancient supernovae, the universe itself trembles. Their collision sends out gravitational waves, ripples in the fabric of space-time that spread across the galaxy like the echo of a grand, resonant chord. Our small Earth, just a speck of dust in that ocean of waves, shivers ever so slightly. But with exquisitely sensitive instruments like LIGO and Virgo, humanity has heard those cosmic notes. Not with ears, but with laser beams that quiver less than the width of an atom. When scientists first detected gravitational waves, they described the moment as hearing the universe's voice for the first time in 13 billion years. It wasn't just physics, it was music. The cosmos finally had a sound. But the Milky Way doesn't always sing in thunder. Sometimes it whispers. From the cold, dark dust clouds of nebulae, soft infrared signals drift outward, the slow, quiet breath of the galaxy. Each carbon molecule, each hydrogen atom, vibrates and emits its own faint tone, together forming the background drone of creation. If we could translate the full spectrum of those waves into sound, the Milky Way wouldn't be a lively song, but a deep, warm hum, steady, infinite, and alive. You might not hear a melody, but you would feel the rhythm, the steady breathing of space itself. Because in truth, our galaxy has its own heartbeat. It pulses through every supernova explosion, every stellar collision, every spiral of plasma swirling around the central black hole. Each of these moments is a beat in the heart of the cosmos. Today, humanity is learning to listen in new ways. Giant observatories like ALMA in Chile and FAST in China are tuning in to the radio echoes of distant stars. On Earth, detectors like LIGO, Virgo, and Kagra are opening their ears to the faint tremors of space-time. And in the future, the ELISA project, a trio of satellites flying in a vast triangle through space, will listen to the universe through the trembling of light itself. When ELISA begins its song, it may detect the lowest, oldest harmonies of the cosmos, gravitational waves born just seconds after the Big Bang. That will be the first time humanity truly hears the past. And yet, the most magical truth is this: all those waves, the powerful and the delicate alike, are passing through you right now. Radio waves from distant stars are moving through your body. Gravitational ripples from ancient collisions billions of light years away are gently shaking every atom within you, too subtly for you to notice. You are, without realizing it, a living note in the Milky Way's great symphony. Every breath you take carries atoms once forged in the hearts of stars. Every heartbeat echoes the faint rhythm of the universe itself. You don't just live in the galaxy, you are part of its song. So listen, not with your ears, but with the stillness of your mind. Because the universe is never truly silent. It simply hums on a deeper level, a place where only a quiet soul can hear. And perhaps tonight, as you lie still and close your eyes, in perfect silence, you might catch the faint murmur of the Milky Way, echoing across billions of years of light, like waves lapping softly against the shore of space-time. A song with no beginning, no end, only eternity. And in that moment, you'll understand. The universe was never silent. We just hadn't learned how to be quiet enough to listen. As we close the previous chapter, where the Milky Way sang its invisible symphony of waves and energy, listen closely. Within that grand cosmic melody lies a familiar note, soft and enduring: light. The very light we see each night with our eyes. Yet few realize it does more than illuminate the present. Light is the messenger of time, carrying within it the oldest memories of the universe. Imagine this. You're lying on your back beneath a moonless sky, staring upward into the endless dark. The stars seem alive, blazing, breathing, their shimmering eyes watching over the world below. But in truth, most of them no longer exist now. It's a thought so simple yet so haunting. When you look at a star, you're not seeing the present, you're seeing the past. The light you see tonight may have left its home thousands, tens of thousands, or even millions of years ago. When it began its journey, humans did not yet exist. Earth was still a quiet, shadowed world adrift in darkness. Only now, after an unimaginable, lonely voyage, that ancient light has finally reached your eyes. Light is memory. It is the diary of the cosmos, each photon a line of script telling a story already lived. It never turns back, only moves forward through time, recording everything no living creature could ever witness. A giant star that exploded 10,000 years ago, its light is arriving on Earth today. A nebula born at the edge of the galaxy 5 centuries ago. Only now does its signal touch our telescopes. And when we gaze upon galaxies billions of light years away, we are seeing the infant universe, a time when it was only a few 100 million years old. Light is time itself, transformed into waves, history retelling its own story. To understand this more deeply, we need to meet an old friend, the light year. A light year isn't a measure of time, but of distance. The length light travels in a single year. Light moves at about 300,000 kilometers per second, fast enough to circle Earth more than 7.5 times in just one heartbeat. In a year, that becomes nearly 10 trillion kilometers. So when we say a star is 1,000 light years away, it means the light we see tonight began its journey 1,000 years ago. We are seeing the star as it was, not as it is. There's something almost ghostly about that thought. The night sky is not a mirror of the present. It's an archive of memory. Each star a photograph of a moment long gone. Each shimmer a letter written in light, sent across the ages for us to read. But not all light is the same. Some glow brightly and bold, the clear voices of young stars burning in their prime. Others are faint, fading, whispering softly from the dying embers of aging suns. And there are lights invisible to human eyes. X-rays, infrared, gamma rays, still crossing the void, telling stories our eyes can never see. If we could translate every ray of light into sound, perhaps We'd hear billions of distinct voices, each one from a different place, a different moment, a different life. A symphony of light conducted by time itself. So each time you gaze at a star, you become a traveler through time. No machines, no technology, just your eyes. You're looking into the universe's past, a past preserved only in light. Think about this. When you look at Sirius, its light left 8 years ago. When you gaze at Betelgeuse in Orion, that glow began its journey more than 6 centuries past. And when telescopes peer into faraway galaxies, they see light that's billions of years old, emitted by stars that died long before Earth was even born. We are not just looking far. We are looking back into the dawn of time itself. Light, in its deepest meaning, is the universe's memory, eternal and unforgotten. Even when a star dies, its light continues on. Even when a civilization collapses, its radio signals still drift between the stars, carrying greetings, stories, or perhaps the quiet sighs of a world long gone. All of it becomes traces of light, threads of time woven together into the vast tapestry of memory we call the cosmos. And we, fragile creatures on a tiny blue planet, are living in the middle of that ocean of remembrance. Each night, when we look up, we're not just admiring the stars, we're watching ancient souls, listening to the voices of the past, witnessing moments that happened thousands, even millions of years ago. It's both scientific and poetic, a truth that makes us feel small and yet profoundly blessed to see time itself shining before us. And perhaps, if we truly listen, each beam of light whispers the same secret. That time never really disappears. It merely transforms into light and keeps traveling, carrying the memories the universe wants to keep forever. So the next time you look up at the sky, remember, you're not just gazing at the present. You're reading the universe's diary. You're watching the past, glowing. And maybe, somewhere out there, in some faraway galaxy, someone is also looking this way and seeing Earth as it once was, long, long ago. Light is time, telling the story of itself as we drift away from the radiant memories of light, where every beam carries a story from the past. Let's imagine something different. If light is the tender message sent from the stars, then somewhere out there, in the vast ocean of darkness, there are wanderers who send no signal at all, who do not shine, who are seen by no one, yet still move quietly, patiently recording the history of the universe in every tiny atom they hold. These are the lonely ones of the Milky Way. Meteors, comets, asteroids, orphaned planets, and cosmic dust. Small fragments, but each carrying memories older than humankind could ever dream of. In the grand kingdom of hundreds of billions of shining suns, we often forget that the universe is not woven from light alone. It is also embroidered with dust and stone, ice and darkness, the humble ingredients that gave birth to planets, to Earth, to us. Imagine a single grain of stardust, 1,000,000 times smaller than the width of a hair, drifting quietly through space. It was born from the death of a star. When a massive sun explodes as a supernova, its ashes scatter across the galaxy. Each tiny grain is a fragment of that fallen star, carrying carbon, oxygen, silicon, the very elements that will one day gather into planets, rocks, oceans, and life. Those dust particles may wander for billions of years, carried by stellar winds, until one day they fall back into the cradle of a young nebula, where they help form a new generation of stars. That endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth is the quiet heartbeat of the Milky Way. And we too are part of it, stardust that learned how to dream. But among this sea of dust exist true travelers, celestial nomads that belong to no world. There are planets cast out of their home orbits, drifting alone through the darkness of space. They have no sun to warm them, no sky to protect them, only eternal night and the silence of solitude. These rogue planets may be far more common than we think. Astronomers believe there could be hundreds of billions of them wandering through the Milky Way, cold, invisible, unseen by any starlight. They are the symbols of loneliness and of endurance, still existing, still moving forward, even when no one is watching. If one day we could approach such a planet, we might find it frozen over, shrouded in absolute darkness. And yet, beneath that icy crust, there might still be warmth, and life asleep, waiting for the light to return. Just like us, sometimes only in solitude do we protect the smallest flame of our being. And then there are the smaller wanderers, comets, the ancient messengers of the solar system. They are made of ice and dust left over from the dawn of the sun itself. Each time a comet nears the sun, its ice vaporizes, trailing a long, glowing tail, a shimmering curve across the sky. When you see a comet passing by, you are watching a relic from billions of years ago, from the time when our sun was newly born. Comets carry the raw chemistry of the universe: water, carbon, ammonia, and the first organic molecules, perhaps even the seeds of life itself. How poetic that these lonely fragments of ice and dust may have been the first couriers to deliver life to Earth. And then there are meteors, brief, brilliant moments of solitude. When a tiny cosmic grain plunges into Earth's atmosphere, friction ignites it, painting a streak of light across the sky. In that fleeting second, a speck of dust turns its death into radiance. No grandeur, no fanfare, just a flash, but enough to make millions of people look up and make a wish. Perhaps meteors remind us of the beauty of impermanence, that even the shortest life can still be remembered for its light. Across the Milky Way, these drifters never stop their journey. From pebbles to mountain-sized asteroids, each carries a fragment of the universe's story, of supernova explosions, planetary collisions, and the first breaths of newborn solar systems. Every meteorite that falls to Earth is a message from the distant past, perhaps from a long-lost planet, or from the youth of the cosmos itself. In laboratories, scientists have found grains within meteorites older than the sun, tiny fossils of ancient stars, billions of years old. They are material memories, proof that nothing in the universe truly disappears. It only changes shape and keeps traveling. The universe tells its stories in the most delicate ways, not only in the roar of supernovae or the blaze of light, but in the quiet persistence of dust and stone. Those nameless grains, colorless, voiceless, have drifted through eons, witnessing the birth and death of countless stars, until one day, they gently fall onto a small blue world, where a being like you might pick one up, look at it, and whisper, "This is where we come from." Perhaps the greatest beauty of the cosmos lies in its smallest things, in the silent existence of its lonely travelers, the fragments without light, yet holding the entire history of space within them. Because not all who wander are lost. Sometimes the loneliest ones are the ones who remember. So tonight, if you see a shooting star streak across the sky, imagine all the other wanderers out there, still drifting, still journeying, still telling their stories through their quiet existence. Let your heart grow still. For in that moment, you may just hear the faint whisper of stardust, tiny, eternal memories of a vast, ever-changing cosmos and of the quietest souls in the Milky Way. As we leave behind the tale of the lonely travelers, the drifting dust and fragments wandering through space, we realize something quietly profound. While those particles float aimlessly through the dark, in one small corner of the galaxy, a tiny creature has begun to look upward and wonder where it belongs. A creature that remembers, that dreams, that sends metal ships into the cosmos in search of nothing less than the meaning of its own existence. That creature is humanity. Since the dawn of time, humans have lived beneath the glow of the Milky Way. Long before we knew it was made of hundreds of billions of stars, our ancestors saw it simply as a silver river flowing across the night sky. They told stories about it, myths of divine milk, or the heavenly path for wandering souls. And then one day, someone asked a question that would change everything. If we look closely enough, what will we see? That person was Galileo Galilei. In 1609, he pointed the first primitive telescope toward the heavens and discovered something astonishing. That faint mist above was not vapor, nor silk spun by gods, but countless tiny stars, woven into a vast ocean of light. From that moment on, humanity began to touch the galaxy, not with our hands, but with our eyes, our minds, and our infinite curiosity. More than 4 centuries have passed. From Galileo's humble lenses to the mighty eyes of space telescopes, we now see farther, deeper, and clearer than ever before. The Hubble Space Telescope gave us the first breathtaking portraits of galaxies, not just our Milky Way, but billions more, scattered like jewels across the cosmos. Then came Gaia, a delicate spacecraft of the European Space Agency, meticulously measuring the positions and motions of over 1 billion stars, weaving the most detailed 3D map of our galaxy ever made. It's as if humanity is finally sketching, for the first time, the blueprint of its own home. And now, the James Webb Space Telescope, with its sensitive infrared eyes, has opened a new window, peering through thick veils of dust to watch stars being born inside radiant nebulae. Webb doesn't just look outward, it looks backward in time, to the moment when the Milky Way itself was a newborn child in a young and glowing universe. But looking is never enough for us. Human beings are rarely content just to observe. Somewhere deep inside burns a strange flame, the longing to reach the stars. And so, in the 20th century, we began to leave Earth. From Yuri Gagarin's first flight to Neil Armstrong's footprints on the moon, every milestone was another note in the grand symphony of our yearning. Yet perhaps the most touching chapter is when humanity didn't just rise, it sent messengers into the unknown. In 1977, NASA launched 2 small spacecraft, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. They were meant only to fly past the giant planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. But no one could have imagined that more than 40 years later, they would still be traveling. Both Voyagers have now crossed the edge of the solar system and entered interstellar space, becoming the first human-made objects to truly touch the Milky Way. And the most moving part? Each Voyager carries a gift, the Golden Record, a golden disc etched with greetings in 55 languages, the sound of ocean waves, the laughter of a baby, and music from Earth. A fragile message to the stars. We were here, and we wished to make friends. Somewhere, in the silent dark, those 2 tiny ships are still flying, slowly, quietly, more than 20 billion kilometers away, carrying the voice of our world. No one knows if anyone will ever hear them, but perhaps the miracle lies in the fact that we sent them at all. The universe is vast beyond imagining, and humanity is impossibly small. And yet, we have seen the edge of our own galaxy. With our ships, our radio antennas, and our dreams that never sleep. When Galileo looked up 400 years ago, he could see only hundreds of stars. Today, we know there are hundreds of billions in the Milky Way, and trillions of galaxies beyond. And the wonder is, all of it can be understood by the same human mind. But perhaps what defines us most is not our technology, but our spirit of exploration. Nothing forces humanity to look outward. We could have lived our lives never knowing the stars. But there is something in our nature, something written in stardust, that keeps whispering, "Look a little farther." It is that voice that led us from caves to telescopes, from myths to mathematics, from the moon to the edge of the Milky Way. It is the same voice that still asks, night after night, "Is anyone out there?" and drives us to reach for the infinite. And perhaps, one distant day, humans will not only see the Milky Way, but look back upon it from beyond. Imagine a future generation standing aboard a lightship, gazing through its window to see a faint silver band stretched across the dark. The Milky Way, the home of their ancestors. And in that moment, they will understand. We, the first to lift our eyes to the sky, were the ones who began that journey. From Galileo to Voyager, to the scientists guiding James Webb today, we have all written a single shared story. The story of our belief that humanity can reach for the stars. So when you look up and see the Milky Way flowing across the heavens, remember, every one of those stars has already been touched by us, by our gaze, our intellect, and our longing. And somewhere, in the endless distance, our little spacecraft are still drifting, carrying the greetings of Earth and of you. We may be small, but curiosity has carried us to the edge of eternity. And tonight, as you close your eyes, imagine yourself drifting with Voyager, past the stars, through radiant nebulae, across waves of invisible radio song. Behind you, Earth, a tiny blue dot, warm and alive. Before you, the infinite dark and eternity, waiting to be touched. You are not merely a listener to this story. You are part of it, a dream of stardust, still writing with the Milky Way, the endless symphony of discovery. After following humanity's outstretched hand toward the Milky Way, from Galileo's small telescope to the Voyager probes drifting in interstellar darkness, we begin to realize something. That journey is not only a story of knowledge, but a path back to a deeper connection between human beings and the universe. The more we explore, the smaller we feel. And the smaller we feel, the more gently held we seem to be in the quiet arms of the galaxy. From our dreams of crossing the stars, we return, not to turn away from the universe, but to fall asleep within it. Now let's slow down. Imagine you are lying in the still darkness of the night. Around you, there are no walls, no noise, only a deep black sky stretching out without end. In that vastness, the Milky Way appears, a soft, pale band laid gently across the dark, like wandering light that lost its way in the cosmos and has come back just to find you. Our story began with that image, and now it returns to it, closing like a perfect circle. That glowing band is not just a beautiful painting in the night sky. It is the breath of the universe, a river of hundreds of billions of stars gliding softly through space, a tender melody of time and energy, of birth and fading away. And within that music, you exist. Think about this. You, me, all of us, we are part of the Milky Way. The atoms that make up your body were born from stardust billions of years ago. Your heart beats with the flow of your blood, and that blood is nourished by iron, by carbon, by oxygen. Elements once burning fiercely in the core of some distant star that exploded when the universe was still very young. Every breath you take is the universe continuing its rhythm in human form. Strange, isn't it? We are not just living in the universe. We are part of it. What you see in the sky, nebulae, comets, galaxies, are not simply places far away, but extensions of your own story. The universe is not only outside you, it lives inside every cell, every dream, every breath you inhale and exhale. Now close your eyes. Listen for a moment. Do you hear it? The soft wind outside your window, the beating of your heart, the gentle rhythm of your breathing. All of it, blended with the stillness of the night, begins to sound like the Milky Way whispering. In this moment, you no longer have to search for the galaxy out there, because you yourself are a small star resting in the arms of a vast celestial home. The sky is not distant. It is right there in your chest, where your heart echoes the pulse of the universe. When you breathe in, imagine you are drawing in the light of millions of stars, light that has traveled thousands of years just to reach you. When you breathe out, imagine you are sending out a small wave of warmth, merging it with the dust and gas of the galaxy, letting it drift outward into space. Your breath is a tiny spiral in the great swirling dance of the Milky Way. The entire galaxy is in motion, hundreds of billions of stars circling the center at incredible speeds. And you are moving with them, even as you lie perfectly still. From the universe's point of view, your sleep is a gentle journey through space. Each time you drift into slumber, you are truly floating within the universe, quiet, safe, held in the soft turning of the Milky Way. Scientists say the galaxy keeps rotating, never stopping. I like to think of it as the heartbeat of the universe. Each rotation takes hundreds of millions of years, slow, patient, and full of tenderness. As you lie there under the sky, the Milky Way is turning, holding you, moving with you. You are not separate. You have never been alone. If something is making you uneasy, if your mind is still caught in the noise of the day, let it dissolve. Like a meteor burning away in the atmosphere, like a nebula thinning into the open sky. Imagine those thoughts as soft clouds passing above you, light as breath, fading into the endless night. There is nothing left to weigh you down, nothing you must cling to. The universe never clutches at anything, not even light. It lets it travel freely, and now, you too can be that free. In the dark, as you slowly fall asleep, remember that somewhere, thousands of light years away, there are stars still shining, sending out their faint rays to fall gently across your face. Those rays have crossed darkness, dust, and time itself just to arrive here, in this exact moment. They're not only lighting the sky, they are lulling you to sleep with their ancient glow. And if one day you feel lost in life, remember this. The Milky Way is still there. It has never vanished. It is simply turning, very slowly, very quietly, just in time to hold you in the arms of its billions of stars. Humanity has sent Voyager, sent the Golden Record, sent our hopes into the dark. But for billions of years, the universe has been sending something back, a goodnight blessing. A lullaby carried by radio waves, by starlight, by the beating hearts of suns. A wish never spoken aloud, yet always felt. Each time night falls, each time you breathe deeply and feel at peace. So don't worry anymore. There is no true end in the universe, only cycles of light of matter, of life, of sleep. And your sleep tonight is one small cycle in the eternal waltz of the Milky Way. You are a small drop of light in an ocean of stars. You are a breath among billions of cosmic heartbeats. And as you close your eyes, the Milky Way keeps turning, silent, gentle, patient, like a mother rocking her child to sleep with ancient light. So now, let your body soften. Let your thoughts slowly dissolve, blending into the slow breath of the universe. Feel your heart grow light as stardust, and know that you are wrapped in billions of invisible arms, of gas, of light, of time, and of the quiet love the universe has for you. Sleep now, little child of the galaxy. Your rest too is part of the endless song of the stars. And when morning comes, that light will return, as if the Milky Way itself had leaned close in the night to whisper, "Sleep well. I am still turning, and I am still cradling you in my light."